ʻsiː is the third letter in the ISO Basic Latin alphabet. History: ʻsiː comes from the same letter as G. The Semites named it Gimel. The sign is possibly adapted from an Egyptian hieroglyph for a staff sling, which may have been the meaning of the name Gimel. Another possibility is that it depicted a camel, the Semitic name for which was Gamel. Barry B. Powell, a specialist in the history of writing, states it is hard to imagine how Gimel equals camel can be derived from the picture of a camel. In the Etruscan language, plosive consonants had no contrastive voicing, so the Greek I was adopted into the Etruscan alphabet to represent. Already in the Western Greek alphabet, Gam first took a form in early Etruscan, then in Classical Etruscan. In Latin it eventually took the ʻsiː form in Classical Latin. In the earliest Latin inscriptions, the letters C, K, Q were used to represent the sounds and. Of these, Q was used to represent all before a rounded vowel, K before A, and C elsewhere. During the 3rd century BC, a modified character was introduced for, and C itself was retained for. The use of C replaced most usages of K and Q. Hence, in the classical period and after, G was treated as the equivalent of Greek gamma, and C is the equivalent of kappa. This shows in the romanization of Greek words, as in kai moi pound, kaipoi pound, and I copyright ki pound came into Latin as cadmvs, civs and fossi, respectively. Other alphabets have letters homoglyphic to C but not in use in derivation, like the Cyrillic letter is, which derives from the lunate sigma, named due to its resemblance to the crescent moon. Later use, when the Roman alphabet was introduced into Britain, C represented only, and this value of the letter has been retained in loanwords to all the insular Celtic languages. In Welsh, Irish, Gaelic, C represents only. The Old English or Anglo-Saxon writing was learned from the Celts, apparently of Ireland. Hence C in Old English also originally represented. The modern English words kin, break, broken, thick, and seek, all come from Old English words written with csin, brecken, brosen, a 3/4ic, and zar copyright. But during the course of the Old English period, before front vowels were palatalized, having changed by the 10th century to te florin, though C was still used, as in sa, I, say, rec, e, a. On the continent, meanwhile, a similar phonetic change had also been going on. In Vulgar Latin, became palatalized to te florin in Italy and Dalmatia. In France and the Iberian Peninsula, it became ts. Yet for these new sounds a car euro was still used before front vowels a euro, a euro e, a euro. The letter thus represented two distinct values. Subsequently, the Latin phoneme delabialized to meaning that the various Romance languages had before front vowels. In addition, Norman used the Greek letter K so that the sound could be represented by either K or C, the latter of which could represent either or depending on whether it preceded a front vowel or not. The convention of using both C and K was applied to the writing of English after the Norman conquest, causing a considerable respelling of the Old English words. Thus while Old English candle, cliff, corn, crop, car, remained unchanged, cent, car micron to the first, sign, brace, zar copyright oak, were now spelled Kent, key, king, breck, and seoak. Even knit was subsequently changed to knit and a 3/4ic changed to thick or thick. The Old English CW was also at length displaced by the French cu so that the Old English core copyright n and queek became Middle English quan keek, respectively. Te florin, to which Old English palatalized had advanced, also occurred in French, chiefly from Latin before a. In French it was represented by ch, as in champ, and the spelling was introduced into English. The Hatton Gospels, written about 1160, have in mat. I, child, riche, Michael, for the child, rice, missel, of the Old English version whence they were copied. In these cases, the Old English C gave place to K ch, but, on the other hand, C and its new value of came in largely in French words like procession, imperice, grace, and was also substituted for ts in a few Old English words, as melts, bletzian, in early Middle English milse, blesian. By the end of the 13th century both in France and England, this sound affricated to. And from that time cy has represented before front vowels either for etymological reasons, as in lance, scent, or to avoid the ambiguity due to the etymological use of s4, as in ace, mice, once, pence, defense. Thus, to show the etymology, English spelling has advise, devise, instead of advise, devise, which while advice, device, dice, ice, mice, twice, etc., do not reflect etymology. Example has extended this to hence, pence, defense, etc., where there is no etymological necessity for cy. Former generations also wrote sense for sense. Hence, today the Romance languages and English have a common feature inherited from Vulgar Latin where cy takes on either a hard, or soft value depending on the following vowel. Use in orthographies, English, in English orthography, cy generally represents a soft value of before the vowel letters e, I and y and a hard value of before the vowel letters a, o and u. However, there are a number of exceptions in English, soccer, and Celtic words that have where would be expected. The soft cy may represent the sound in the digraph cy when this precedes a vowel, as in the words delicious and appreciate. The digraph ch most commonly represents, but can take the value or. Some dialects of English also have in words like lock where other speakers pronounce the final sound as. The trigraph tch always represents. The digraph ck is often used to represent the sound after short vowels. Other languages, in the Romance languages French, Spanish, Italian, Romanian and Portuguese, cy generally has a hard value of and a soft value, the pronunciation of which varies by language. In French, Portuguese, and Spanish from Latin America and southern Spain, the soft cy value is as it is in English. In the Spanish spoken in northern and central Spain, the soft cy is a voiceless dental fricative. In Italian and Romanian, the soft cy is t angstrom florin. All Balto-Slavic languages that use the Latin alphabet, as well as Albanian, Hungarian, Pashto, several Sami languages, Esperanto, Ido, Interlingua, and Americanist phonetic notation use cy to represent the voiceless alveolar or voiceless dental sibilant affricate. In Romanized Chinese, the letter represents an aspirated version of this sound. Among non-European languages that have adopted the Latin alphabet, cy represents a variety of sounds. Upik, Indonesian, Malay, and a number of African languages such as Hausa, Fula, and Manding share the soft Italian value of. In Azeri, Kurdish, Tatar, and Turkish cy stands for the voiced counterpart of this sound, the voiced post-alveolar affricate. In Yabam and similar languages, such as Bikawa, cy stands for a glottal stop. Xhosa and Zulu use this letter to represent the click. In some other African languages, such as Beninese Yoruba, cy is used for. In Fijian, cy stands for a voiced dental fricative, while in Somali it has the value of. The letter cy is also used as a transliteration of the Cyrillic n in the Latinic forms of Serbian, Macedonian, and sometimes Ukrainian. Ch. There are several common digraphs with cy, the most common being ch, which in some languages such as German is far more common than cy alone. Ch takes various values in other languages, such as, in Spanish, in French and Portuguese, in Interlingua and Italian, in the West Slavic languages, or sometimes in German, or in Dutch, in Romanized Standard Chinese, other digraphs and trigraphs, as in English, ck, with a value, is often used after short vowels in other Germanic languages such as German and Swedish. The digraph cz is found in Polish and cs in Hungarian, both representing. The digraph sc represents in Old English, Italian, and a few languages related to Italian. The trigraph sch represents in German. Other usage, as a phonetic symbol, lowercase c is the International Phonetic Alphabet and XSAMPA symbol for the voiceless palatal plosive, and capital C is the XSAMPA symbol for the voiceless palatal fricative. It is used to represent 100 in Roman numerals. Related letters and other similar characters. Computing codes, 1 also for encodings based on ASCII, including the DOS, Windows, ISO 8859 and Macintosh families of encodings. Other representations. See also, hard and soft C, references. External links, media related to ʻsiː at Wikimedia Commons, the dictionary definition of ʻsiː at Wiktionary, the dictionary definition of ʻsiː at Wiktionary.